Okay, we're following, and Ed is kind of moving along here. I'm going to cut tape.
Okay.
We're back on. We were just talking about women's advancement within the financial institutions, and we're speaking about Muriel Siebert, who was...
She was the first female member of the exchange. She actually a seat holder. She was the first woman to buy a seat on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, which again was a groundbreaking event.
And she also was involved with a bank specifically for women.
Yes, yes, exactly. I don't think she actually ever worked her seat on the floor. She owned the seat as a membership for her company, but I don't think she actually worked her seat. But we have had many successful women brokers on the floor of the exchange.
I'm trying to remember the name of the bank.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. But
okay, so where are we now, and what's happening, and what are we doing? And whenever you're ready to tell me that's enough, that's enough.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just saying this is a good place to end, and that is that what does the future of the New York Stock Exchange hold? And we're at a very, very key and critical juncture where we are moving more and more toward this, quote, hybrid or more electronic market, where outsiders will be given more control over how their orders are executed electronically. And there's a great debate as to what will happen to the floor itself, the auction market as you're viewing it here, people like myself and the specialists. So I think it'll be very interesting to watch over the next few months. I guess the full hybrid system is scheduled to be unrolled by early in February, I would guess.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what really happens to functions such as myself and specialists and the way things are done now. In a more electronic environment.
Hybrid is very much the key word. That may be the most important word of this coming year. Hybrid, the oil and what's happening, how will that affect people depending less on oil and moving to hybrids and that sort of thing. Peanut oil, and how will that affect? I guess that's commodities.
Right, that's a different type of hybrid with hybrid cars and so on. But you know, in some ways it's different, but the same. The hybrid will revolutionize the American automobile industry. We've already heard General Motors announce they're moving toward a fully electric car. So yeah, in some ways they're not all that dissimilar. The hybrid market here and hybrid automobiles are revolutionizing their various industries.
There's almost a color code happening in here. Certain people are in green. You're in a blue, sort of a dark blue, maybe a black. I see red blazers walking around. What's happening with different colors at different functions?
No, actually, it's interesting you asked that. Over the years, that is the most commonly asked question. That is, what do all the different colors mean? In most cases, it means nothing. Supervisors of the exchange wear the dark green jackets that you'll see. They do have jackets, and back in the days when we had runners, the runners would wear sort of a gray-blue jacket so you could recognize them. But generally, the color of the jacket is up to either the individual firm. Spare Leads chooses to wear green jackets, but they could change to yellow tomorrow. So there's no real significance to the jackets, but it's a very commonly asked question.
I'm so used to working in jeans and tops and that sort of thing, and I was advised shirt and tie, suit when you come on board, because there are a lot of the television folks and the cameras going.
Well, that's the dress code of the trading floor, is to have a jacket and a suit tie on. But also in the main room, where we have all of our televisions, there's a possibility you'll also end up on TV. So we need to make sure that you're meeting that dress code.
I feel so adult here today with the tie. How do you tie this thing? How do you tie this thing? Well, I guess, are you ready to go? Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to be seeing you later, or I guess this is it?
No, I think
this is it. Unless you want it. I mean, I can do it if you want it, but
okay,
we're
yeah,
fine.
no, I think we got everything we need.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Stephen R. Porporra of William O'Neill and Company Incorporated. Anything you'd like to say? Any closing thought? Anything about anything? And what is it? You have a number here?
That's my badge number.
That's your badge
when
number.
you're in a crowd, you have to give up your number and trade.
Okay.
No, I just think that as our economy and our industry matures, we know that more and more individuals have money in stocks, and I just hope that many people fear information of stocks. I know many people I meet are totally confused, but it's a very interesting time, a very interesting intellectual exercise trying to understand the stock market, and it's not all that complicated. So I hope more and more people feel more comfortable with the stock market and educating themselves and trying to learn as they begin to direct their own futures in equities?
Well, in the 50s, I was working as a messenger at Payne Webber Jackson Curtis, and I had a stockbroker friend. I said, you know, he said, well, how much money do you have in the bank? I said, about $1,000. He says, take that $1,000 and buy Syntex. Go and buy Syntex, S-Y-N-T-E-X. It was 50 cents a share. It was one of these penny top things. I said, no, I better hold on to my money. I don't know, you know, Wall Street, stocks. Well, it finally split about $250 a few months later. It was the first birth control pill, as I recall. And then when I finally did buy stock, Telesciences, Telsci, I lost about $7,000. So you never know. Today, you could have been talking to a millionaire today.
Well, it's funny you picked Syntex because the founder of my firm, William O'Neill, was one of the first major people to recognize Syntex and its value in the market. And as he points out many times, if you've ever read any of his books, that successful stocks come from new and innovative ideas and products. And certainly through the 90s, we saw many of them with companies like Microsoft and Dell, America Online, and companies like that. But Syntex, funny you should mention it, is probably one of the most significant,
it's amazing,
products, new products and innovations of the 20th century, certainly.
50 cents a share.
And there it is. People made a lot of money, and that's what stocks are about.
Cow.
So identify the new and successful ideas and products, and people can make a lot of money in this business.
Happy holidays.
And I'll leave you with that. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you so much.
You know, we're going to cut right now. You're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. We are going to leave the floor now. We will be back for the closing bell. So with that, let's cut tape. We're back on tape, of course. It's approximately 11 a.m. right now. We are outside the New York Stock Exchange again. We have been taken out of the building, not forcibly. We left the building. We're going to come back here at 3 o'clock for the closing bell, and that's when we'll hook up with Mirtha again and kind of close out today this piece. I'm going to move on now to seats, a very interesting point that was made about seats. They're not really seats, but I'm going to pause right now and come to the seats page. Let's pause. Okay, we're at a pause right now. When we said seats, they're not actually seats. Two security NYPD ESU personnel, police officers just passed with some very serious weaponry that kind of walked the perimeter of the New York Stock Exchange here, building, the New York Stock Exchange building. Let's just go for a moment to seats. New York Stock Exchange trading licenses, seats. They're not actual seats. I've been under the impression that seats, you're sitting down. It really stands for Stock Exchange Auction Trading System. So seats, S-E-A-T-S, and that's how it comes about. We're going to take a break right now. Again, we're going to be back here at the building, New York Stock Exchange building, at about 3 p.m. We're going to go inside. I don't know how much more chatting we're going to do, but we're going to be on the floor for the closing bell on this Friday, December 1st, 2006. It's about probably about 11:15 right now in the morning. The skies are gray. We had a couple of downpours this morning, waiting to get access into the building. It is dry right now. We're expecting some extremely inclement weather in sometime around early afternoon, probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's going to turn cold. It's probably around 60 degrees right now. It's a balmy Friday afternoon, Friday morning right now in New York City. Canine Patrol just went through. Canine Patrol, that's the truck you just heard. Okay, let's take a break again. This is Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. Let's cut tape. Okay, we're back on tape. It's about 3 p.m. right now. We're downtown New York City, the Wall Street area. We're on the corner of Exchange Place and Broad Street. We're getting ready to go back into the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to get back on the floor. I don't think we're going to be doing too much speaking at this point. We're just going to be there for the closing bell and bid adieu at that point. So that's the story. Right now, the sky is overcast. It's cloudy, of course. It's getting dark. It's at 3 p.m. It gets a little dark, a little a little early because the time change, the spring ahead fall back. It's not raining right now. It's still threatening. The sun came out for just a little bit about 12:30 this afternoon, and then it peaked back in. We had a couple of short little bursts of a couple of showers, not really anything heavy, not of no real consequence. Right now, again, they're expecting a heavy weather about 4:30. Again, it's December 1st, 2006, a couple of weeks before winter here in the U.S. of A., and we expect to be getting some winter-like weather the last few days after balmy temperatures throughout the month of November. So we're waiting for Mirtha Medina to come scoop us up at security outside the building right now. We've got our security badge and ready to head back on the floor. We're going to take a break right now. We will see you inside the building. Again, about, I think the closing bell is at 4 p.m. And so I guess we're going to be picked up about 3:30 or so. So 4 p.m. closing bell on this December 1st, Friday, December 1st, 2006. Again, you're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. Let's get ready to be collected at security. Cut tape. On tape, we're in the members gallery overlooking the what room?
Main room.
The main room. We're in the main room. We're with Mirtha Medina. And Mirtha, you're on.
Okay, just to cover a couple of things, we'll review. We have 4 different rooms. The main room, which is the one we're overlooking right now. To the left, we have the garage, which Mr. Porporra gave us the colorful story about. And then to the right, we have the blue room, the extended blue room, and the new room. Now, this is the main room because it's the first room we occupied when we moved into this building in 1903. I believe this is the 3rd home for the New York Stock Exchange. And most of our cameras that televise our opening bells are located in this room. Now, if you look to the right where the big flag is, right underneath there, you'll see the podium, which is where the opening and closing bell rings every day. The opening bell is at 9:30. The closing bell is at 4. And today for the close, we have C&D Technologies Incorporated celebrating their 10th year anniversary. I'm sorry, yes, 10th year anniversary. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the management team at the exchange. John A. Thane, who is our CEO, he joined us in January of 2004, if I'm not mistaken. We also have Catherine Kenny, who is President and Co-Chief Operating Officer. She's been with the exchange since 1974 and is the first woman to hold the co-president title. We also have Gerald D. Putnam. Because of our acquisition of Archipelago Holdings, he is also a president and co-chief operating officer, operating under NYSE Group, which is our new name. And then we have Nelson Chai, who is our chief financial officer, and we have Richard G. Ketchum, who is the chief executive officer of NYSE Regulation, which became its own separate entity than the New York Stock Exchange.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. I'm just going to pause for a moment, check this sound, and we're going to come right back on. Cut tape.
In terms of hybrid, it's still in its phase right now. It's still being tested. We plan to have it all squared away and completely rolled out early February 2007. And pretty much what hybrid is, for layman's purposes, is options. It's different options for investors to trade. You can trade electronically through our SuperDot system. You can trade using the e-broker and matching orders electronically. Or you can trade sending your order to a broker, and the broker will in turn interact with the specialist. Depending on how many shares of a particular company you are buying or selling, one of the 3 is better suited for the customer. We're just offering that options to our customer.
Okay. And also, let's do seats, since we're up there.
Yes. Seats, which no longer exist, they are now called trading licenses. But at one point in time, when the exchange was a public company, private company, it was a private company for 213 years. A seat signified a membership. there were 1,366 seats. So there were only 1,366 members. And what that meant is that they had authority to trade on the floor because they had membership. Now that we became a public company as of March 8, 2006, the seats, or the term seats, are now known as trading licenses. And there is a fee to be paid monthly in order for you to have a license to trade on the floor. So now we're going to talk about the layout of the trading floor, and pretty much the layout is basic throughout the 4 rooms. The perimeter of the rooms up against the wall are where all the brokerage houses are found. So you will find your Bank of Americas, your Goldman Sachs, so forth and so on. In the center of the room are where the posts are found, and they're shaped kind of like an octagon. It almost looks like an octopus because it has all these little arms coming out of it with panels. What those panels are have information of what the specialist trades. Any specialist can handle anywhere from 1 to 10 stocks depending on how volatile or how much movement is in a stock. And when you want to know what specialist trades what stock, these screens help you figure that out. Now we have a centralized market, and pretty much what that means is that you can only find a stock in one particular area. So our posts are numbered from 1 to 22, if I'm not mistaken. And if you are looking for stock X, just for the purpose of giving you an example, they will tell you it's at post 10, panel A. So you would know to go to the main room to find that post and to find that alphabet, and that's where you would find that stock, and only in that particular place. The reason we take pride in being a centralized market is because we guarantee you the best price for your purchase. So if the best price for the stock is in Philadelphia, we will reroute your order to Philadelphia because our promise is to guarantee our customers the best price. A way for you to understand is for me to speak about our competitor, the NASDAQ. They are an electronic company, trading facility, and depending on who is handling the phones, they can have 2 or 3 different people trading the same stock. But there could be a difference of maybe 2 cents, 5 cents. The customer have no way of knowing this because they're calling, and whoever picks up the phone is who's going to handle their order. Meanwhile, since we're a centralized market, you can only find the stock in one area, so you are guaranteed that best price.
Okay, so this is where to come. And the American Stock Exchange, what is your relationship with the American Stock Exchange? What would be, briefly, just what would be the difference there?
Well, they're our competitor. They are also more of an electronic market. They do not have a floor, but they trade other products such as derivatives and options and ETFs, which we have a business in ETFs, but we're expanding our options business and we're expanding our derivatives business. So the American Stock Exchange would be a competitor as well.
Okay, anything else to speak about here?
Outside of the fact that there is a dress code on the floor, which is why you see a lot of the traders, both men and women, with jackets. Some of the jackets are very colorful. A long time ago, that was a way to identify what firm were you working for, depending on the color jacket you were wearing. Now they have these tags on their shirts with 3 or 4-digit numbers, kind of like Mr. Porporra. And with that number, a specialist can tell right away who he's dealing with, what firm you represent. He doesn't even need to know your name. As long as he has that code, he knows who he's dealing with.
I think he was 664.
That is correct. 664 is Mr. Porporra.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anything else we should be knowing?
I think we have it all covered.
Okay, we're just going to hang out. We're going to go off tape. We're going to save. We've got a little tape left. We're going to catch the closing bell. Again, who's ringing the bell today?
The closing bell is being rung by C&D Technologies, who is celebrating their 10-year anniversary of being a listed company of the exchange.
Happy birthday, C&D Technologies. You're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. By the way, this series began in 1979, 89, 99, 2007 coming up, so that's 28 years.
Congratulations, wonderful, and it's a wonderful program.
Thank you very much. On that note, let's cut tape.
Herb, we mentioned the fact that we are a public company, but we did not mention our stock. And our stock symbol is NYX, N as in Nancy, Y as in yes, SX in Xerox. And currently right now I think we are doing very well. I think our stock is about $90-something a share. And when we opened I believe at $60 a share. So we've been doing pretty well. I also want to mention the New York Stock Exchange Index, which is known as the NYA. And that actually has broken a couple of records this year. I believe maybe 22 times it's beat its own high. Most recently yesterday it closed at 89.60 even, which is the highest we've seen thus far. So I just wanted to be sure to mention those to you. Also want to talk about our market share volume, which right now is at 2.8 billion, and this is for NYSE Group listed companies. In terms of value of trading, right now our value of trading is $89.9 million. And wanted to talk a little bit about, that's it.
That's it. And also the Pink Panther, let's do the big, Mirtha gave me a Pink Panther from, was it OC or?
It's Owen Cohen.
Owens Corning, right?
Yes, Owen Corning. Right. They were here and they went public last week and gave out these cute little Pink Panthers with a white t-shirt on, displaying the logo of the company, and I wanted to be sure that Herb did not forget our visit, so I gave him one to remember us by.
My daughter is going to love that.
Of
course, I'm going to love it too. So,
I hope she does.
Okay, we're going to save some tape, and if you come up with anything else, Mirtha, let me know.
Yes.
We're just going to kind of hang out, I guess, and wait for the closing bell, and that's what we'll close with. So I'll make some thank yous right now. Of course, Mirtha Medina, your title here?
I am Media Relations Associate for the Corporate Communications Department of the New York Stock Exchange.
And who else should we be thanking? Of course, Robert Porporra.
Stephen Porporra.
Stephen
yes.
Porporra.
Yes, he is a trader on the floor. We would like to thank him greatly. We'd also like to thank Rich Adamanis, Senior VP of Communication, who made this visit possible, as well as Eric Ryan, who is the Senior Media Specialist, who also helped facilitate this for you.
And of course, William O'Neill, Company Incorporated, who allowed Mr. Porporra to appear on the program today.
Exactly, very much so. We want to thank them as well.
Okay, folks, we're going to wait for the closing bell. That'll be the final sound. And I want to thank and send along my greetings to James Herndon and all the good folks at the Library of Congress, National Library Service, for the blind and physically handicapped. Again, as soon as this program is mastered, we'll be sending it on to the library, and they'll get it straight out to you, to your libraries or wherever you may be overseas. So I hope you enjoy it. You've been listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman, from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, from above the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
The world puts its stock in us.